Hello everyone, welcome to Veranda IAS in this series of lectures of current affairs associated with art and culture. The topic of the discussion for the day is NOK Culture. Why is it in news? We'll discuss. The learning objective of the day are to examine about the NOK culture, explain the Iron Age culture, to list the tools used in NOK culture, to analyze the terracotta figurines in NOK culture, and then to describe proton magnetometer. We'll discuss about proton magnetometer. Then we will discuss why NOK culture is in news. NOK culture, is it new for you all? Yes, it is, because it is one of the cultures which is based in Africa, the remnants of which are found in Africa, not associated with Asia or India. So don't be confused. We will discuss each and every detail important for your examination about NOK culture in this session today. NOK culture is one of the important cultures. We know that often excavations take place and number of cultures or number of settlements are being found. But why this becomes a hot topic? This becomes a hot topic because of the use of iron tools and because of the use of iron smelting during that time period, which was too early as per the contemporary events. So NOK culture is known for the use of iron technology, iron smelting, iron tools. And second thing which makes it more important is there was a shift, transition from Stone Age to Iron Age directly in NOK culture. Strange, but it is true. What we have seen in history, we have seen in Indian history, or overall if we talk about history, firstly it was the use of stone tools which was known to the people. We have read the history of Paleolithic age. If you remember the classifications of history of ancient times, we have read it was the Paleolithic age, or we can say the use of stone tools. Then after that the settlements started, and then people started knowing the use of various tools, various metals, and then comes copper or bronze age, and after that came the use of iron tools. With coming of iron tools, we know that the settlements and the cultivation became very easy for the people, and this was the start of urbanization in the historical times. Because we know that with iron, the tools became more and more sharper. The tools became more and more good for clearing the wide, the green, the vast forest. And also these tools helped people to prevent themselves from the attacks of the wild animals, and the human became now one of the, we can say, one of the variety of organisms which started thinking that yeah, we are superior, because now human had settlement, cultivation, and then defense from the wild animals. That was the start of urbanization. We know that the use of iron brought drastic changes to the history. Now after Stone Age comes some metal age, copper age, bronze age, and then comes iron age. But what is strange, what is unique to NOK culture is direct transition from Stone Age to Iron Age. They have skipped this level of metal age. We'll discuss some factual information. From the 5th century BCE until the 2nd century CE, the Iron Age flourished in southern West Africa, which is modern day Nigeria. If you open the map of Africa, West Africa area where today Nigeria is there, we will see the map in further slides in this session as well. There was the evidences of NOK culture. So NOK culture, you can remember, is from Nigeria, N, you can remember like this. In Africa, specifically to Nigeria. NOK was the first civilization in West Africa. Important. First civilization in West Africa known to make such art, and possibly the first in sub-Saharan Africa to develop iron smelting technology. So direct transition is important. Use of iron smelting technology is important. What else is important? The time period is important. Next, NOK culture is well recognized for its terracotta sculptures. Not only this, the evidences, excavations tell us that the people of NOK culture had interest in the artistic value, aesthetic value, and large-scale terracotta sculptures are being found associated with NOK culture. We will see some sculptures as well, and those sculptures have some unique feature that you can see and identify that these belong to NOK culture. All of the sculptures were made of the same type of clay. Important feature is nearly same type of clay was used in most of the sculptures. This demonstrated that the clay originated from the same source and the production was centralized. The clay was from probably the same source and it was from one center, or we can say centralized production of these sculptures was there. Because if it is local, if it is regional, it would have been regional, then the variety of the clay would have differed. Then the material which was used would have differed. But since it is same, it suggests us about the type of polity or type of production economy of the NOK culture. See, this is the map of Nigeria. In Nigeria, here this highlighted area was popularly known as the area where NOK culture was found. Area of NOK culture or NOK civilization. Niger river is there. Important. This Niger river is going through it and it is on the banks of Niger river. Again, some revision of history. Why do we often see that most of the civilizations of the ancient or the medieval times, or we can say ancient civilizations, are often found on the banks of the rivers? Do we notice this pattern or not? You should notice this pattern. Most of the civilizations are found on the banks of the river because we know the growth, we know the steps in the growth of the settlements, that people earlier were nomadic, they used to live in forest. Then they started using stone tools. At that time, they were using the flesh of the wild animals. Then they came to know the use of fire. After that, metal age came. And with this progression, the people started developing settlements. What was required for settlement? Their food habit got changed. Now they know cultivation. With metal tools, they know how to clear the fields and how to produce the crops, be it any crop. Now they were not completely reliant on the flesh of the animals. Now they were eating something more, that was crop, that was produce or cultivation. For that they required water. For subsistence, for living, for settlement, they required water. And that is why most of the settlements we see on the banks of the rivers in ancient times. Not only this, also one of the important trends which you would have noticed till now is these settlements when disappeared. We don't know the reason. Indus Valley civilization of India, you know, was based on river Indus. NOK culture here we are studying, that was near to river Niger. We are not even known, we are not even aware of the reasons why NOK culture disappeared, why Indus Valley civilization disappeared. Historians say, scholars say that it was flood probably, the frequent floods, or it was due to the change of the course of the river. Rivers at that time had plenty of water, and when rivers were changing the course, rivers were changing their way, at that time whole of the settlements, the rivers have the capacity to destroy whole of the settlements. So that is also one of the things, one of the causes of decline of various settlements. Next we will move ahead. Something about Iron Age culture. It provides the earliest example of iron smelting technology in sub-Saharan Africa, not only in that area but also in sub-Saharan Africa. Located east of the Niger River and north of the Benue River, remember, two rivers, Niger and Benue River were there, which is today northern and central Nigeria in the map you saw in previous slide. Durable iron tools which included hoes, Hand axes and clevers were put to good use to boost agricultural efficiency. With iron, cultivation got strengthened, agriculture got strengthened, agricultural efficiency got strengthened, and with this, trade relations, economy got boosted. When trade relations will be established, then what will happen? Exchange of culture, exchange of people, and then exchange of traditions, customs, knowledge, and further this led to expand of territory. The concept of territory came in historical times. Next thing is excavations at Taruga revealed that the oldest known NOK culture settlement was inhabited between 4th and 2nd century BCE. These excavations are updated daily. Time and again in the newspapers you will read about these excavations, then you have to keep yourselves updated. But there are some facts which are evergreen that you should follow with these lectures and you should remember. Next comes the reason for the NOK culture's decline around 200 CE is not known, but is evidenced by a sharp drop in pottery production. Historians say that there was a decline in the pottery production nearly was the time 200 CE. Whatever excavations we get, the type of clay or type of material used in pottery production tells us that nearly 200 CE was the time period when pottery production declined. When pottery production declined, we can say that the culture declined. The reasons still we don't know. Some of the important tools of the NOK culture, smelting and forging tools were used. Smelting and forging tools were used. Smelting is the process of heating ores. What is smelting? Iron smelting, we are discussing again and again. It is the process of heating ores in order to remove the metals contained inside. Forging is the method through which metal is shaped. What is smelting? Whenever there is an ore, that ore has some metal. Suppose it is iron ore, that will have iron, but along with iron, there will be number of other things, the impurities in the ore. So the metal is heated with the process of smelting and extracted from that ore. That is extraction of metal. Second is forging. Now if we are using that metal for any purpose, for maybe pottery making or any of the weapon making, tool making, then that shape which we are giving to the metal is by the way of forging. They also used stone tools. We know from stone to iron tools there was transition. Again, historical evidences say us the transition is not a one-day event. Rather, a transition is a slow process. So in some parts contemporary, you will be seeing the use of stone tools. In some parts contemporary, you will be seeing the use of iron tools. Both were contemporary to one another. Farming tools were made of iron mainly. They knew farming, cultivation. That is why we know that agricultural efficiency was there. Around 13 iron smelting furnaces have been found. That tells us that it was one of the important things, important activity taking place during those times. Use of proton magnetometer has been found. Important. Use of proton magnetometer has been found as well. What is it? What is proton magnetometer? We'll discuss. Apart from that, terracotta figurines are found in a large number. Very important. Terracotta sculptures may have evolved as a result of large scale economic production among the NOK people. Since they had trade relations, then what will they trade? They will trade, apart from the agricultural produce, their art and artifacts. That includes terracotta sculptures. Large scale economic production of terracotta sculptures was seen. There are sculptures depicting a big teeth bearing threnthropic human feline figure and torso of a seated figure. What is torso? The upper body. Upper body of any person is known as torso. Wearing a belt around their waist and a necklace among the NOK terracotta sculptures at Pangwari. So what all this tells us is, first and foremost, they were aware of pottery, of terracotta art, and also they were aware of the jewelry, fond of the jewelry we can say, necklaces, belt, all these things are found. See, this is one of the terracotta figurines found associated with NOK culture. One of the important features of the terracotta figurines found in NOK culture is elongated or triangular eyes. Elongated or triangular eyes. In this also you can see that the structure of the eye is different. Elongated, elliptical it is. So elliptical or triangular or elongated eyes are found. This is something unique, something which you can easily identify that it belongs to NOK culture. Next, something about proton magnetometer. What is it? It is used to determine changes in the Earth's magnetic field. Magnetometer tells us that it has some or other thing to do with magnetic field of the Earth. With this, with proton magnetometer, what is easier for us? It enables the detection of ferrous objects. Iron smelting was very popular during those days. What is ferrous object? Ferrous is iron. So wherever there are iron ores, iron objects, it becomes easy for the people with proton magnetometer to identify. Ferrous objects on land and sea, additionally, it is utilized to find a destroyed ship these days. At that time, proton magnetometer was found in NOK culture. Why this topic is in news? Because recently archaeologists from Goethe University in Germany and chemists from the University of Bristol in UK detected beeswax traces in 3,500-year-old NOK culture potsherds. Some potsherds have been found of NOK culture. Recently it was in news that the scientists and that the scholars have detected some beeswax traces in those potsherd which are associated with NOK culture. Not only this, NOK culture time and again have been in news because of the various excavations, various terracotta figurines being found associated with this culture, presenting the continent's earliest direct evidences for honey collecting. Important. With this we can say this study where archaeologists found that the potsherd had beeswax collection, it tells us that honey collection was also one of the things, one of the professions which was boosting the economy of NOK culture during those times, and this is one of the earliest evidences for the continent of Africa. Honey collecting was popular at that time. This is one of the earliest evidences. So this was all for today about NOK culture, about the Iron Age culture, the tools used in NOK culture, the terracotta figurines in NOK culture, the proton magnetometer, and then why NOK culture was in news, why this topic is important for you all. We will continue our discussion from here. Till then, stay tuned, keep studying. Thank you so much.